What's up, everyone? It's Cameron over here. And first, I did want to say that I'm loving the merch. I'm so grateful that, my mom and I have been able to really get a lot of purchases from y'all that we've really been enjoying. The merch that I have on today is from the usual suspects. So definitely want to give a shout out to them. Today's conversation is going to be a little different. Now, as always, I'm going to incorporate that clinical side to it, but let's just talk for a minute because I've been observing just this whole conversation back and forth between whether it be fans, content creators, all of these different things, right? All over in the YouTube streets. And it's very easy for me to be cool with somebody who's like, hey, that's my favorite boxer. And I'm gonna rock with them hella high water. I don't care what they do, it doesn't matter. Well, hell, you at least you're aware that that's what you're doing, right? I think the disconnect for me, almost like a glitch, if you will, is the one that says, no, I don't have, any delusional thinking when it comes to my favorite boxer. Um, I'm not out here pushing a narrative when it comes to my favorite boxer. Well, first we want to look at even the definition of what a delusion is, right? Because a lot of words are thrown out there constantly, and it's the true definition of ignorance, which means one just doesn't know. So the definition of just delusion in itself says it's an unshakable belief that an individual may have. Now, let's stop there and let's now look at even what belief means. Because a lot of people are quick to say, oh, well, I believe such and such to be so, or I believe this to be so. Well, the definition of belief, just in its simplest terms, is that means it could be true and it may not be true. So it kind of leaves it very open. But the funny thing about delusional thinking is that you are so fixed on this unshakable belief that the majority of individuals around you can see that it's false. It's not even based on one's culture or subculture. They don't have any impact in this. So, what do we think may be causing this delusion, right? It doesn't align with an actual delusion disorder, delusional disorders, anything that's in the DSM. They haven't even done any sort of like psychiatric studies, so I want to be very clear with that. But just because someone does not have an actual diagnosis or disorder, it does not negate that we're seeing several traits, if you will. It doesn't negate that, you may be kind of reeking of something a little more than just being a fan. Now, that word fan, everybody, I'm a fan, right? It actually comes from that Latin word, and I think they pronounce it somewhere like fanaticus, some way. Um, but it puts me in the mindset of when we say someone is a fanatic, right? Or a lot of times we'll say the name of a boxer and then be like, yeah, they a whole fanatic. They're a maniac about this person. Well, what's true is that when we look at the term itself of the fanatic, it says that they're insanely, like just totally immersed into their favorite, athlete. I want you to keep that in mind. Why? Because there's a spectrum with this thing. So you have the fan and then you have the fanatic. The fan can easily say, hey, like I said, we're talking about boxing, right? My favorite boxer didn't look their best that night. Don't know what was going on. I don't know if they were a little off. Don't know if they were hurt, sick, whatever. but hopefully they'll be better next time. And you continue to keep it moving because you're a fan of that boxer for whatever the reason, skill set. They may be from your town or city or the same state, whatever it may be. But that fanatic, what they don't realize is they are now wavering between saying I'm a fan, because it's a difference, saying I'm a fan, and some pathological behaviors. Psychopathology is what it is on that spectrum. Like I said again, no, there is no study that one will find that there has actually been conducted that says that someone actually does have an actual diagnosis. What it does show, though, is that this hero worship, okay? Hero worship, I'm your number one fan, can really begin to exhibit some social dysfunctioning, some interpersonal boundaries that may be crossed in there. That hero worship, it can be quite dangerous because what that means is that no longer are you even who you may say you claim to be. Your identity has now been blurred with that of the boxer. I get it. We're all humans. We're having a human experience. So one may have certain things about them where you'll be like, oh man, I really can relate to that story. I really can relate to what they went through. Yeah, most of us can. Let's just cut the shit, right? Because we can find anyone, and that's a human, and there are gonna be some like behaviors. It might be we grew up in the same area. We might have similarities in our story, if you will. But to lose your identity, that's why I put the title as saying we're examining those who are really a fan of a man. But what they're doing is masking themselves as fans, boxing fans. No, no. It's definitely deeper than that. One has become the fan of a man without even exploring the cost, because we're not even limited to just the whole monetary cost, right? We know that, yeah, you pay for pay-per-views. That's a shallow part of it. No, what I'm actually saying is the cost is one's integrity. I have actually witnessed people typing things that have been proved to be a blatant lie. And remember, we talked about that delusional thinking, that whole being so unshakable on this belief, even though the rest of the room knows that that's the furthest from the truth. So what drives this? That one is so willing to pay such a cost to lose their integrity. That's the cost. You lose integrity. Because it may force you to now go into this whole mindset of being a fanatic. You may begin to lose respect for even self. Who are you if you are not immersed in the life of someone whom most of the time you have never even met? I then think about the conversations that I'll see, and it's so obvious. You know, people will go to this extreme of hating other boxers while masking behind, oh no, I'm just a fan of this boxer. No, no, because then why, in order for you to prove that you're a fan of your favorite, does it cause you to hate another? I think about the situation most recently, that everyone's talking about um, now with Ryan Garcia. When all of that stuff happened and Ryan Garcia was just being so, his behavior is disgusting to me. I mean, I don't like anything about what he stands for because I don't think he stands for anything other than selfish stuff. He's selfish. It's not like he's truthful. And so I don't understand anyone's mindset and loyalty to such behavior. That's a whole nother entity. But let's just fast forward. What amazed me is the few minutes, and I'm not saying that literally, because I know that what I've learned is that not only is listening skills proven to be quite difficult for a lot of those who are fans, but also comprehension. So I don't mean literally a few minutes, but there was a short period of time spent on the disrespect towards Black people from Ryan Garcia. But the time spent on downing other boxers, i.e., Devin Haney, his father, anybody that's attached to them, Errol Spence. I'm reminded of that whole situation. The time that is spent on downing Devin and his father is just infinite. I'm convinced. And then the same ones that spend this time and effort because they're so immersed into the lives of these boxers, they spend all this time to down and hate, will be the same one to say, oh no, he's not the face of boxing. Well, we already know that, that can for so many mean so many different things. I've learned that in my short time, just constantly watching, as far as being in the chat and just hearing everyone else's perspectives. But they spend so much more time on downing one boxer as opposed to uplifting that he wants to do something that is going to benefit all boxers, or to be concerned about why Ryan is even relevant. I don't get it. And yet I do. The concern that I have is that these fans are so deep in this shit that they have not counted the cost. They haven't. It's no way. It's no way that one has even begun to think of the impact that is having on their entire reputation, who they are, who they proclaim to be. It's a sport, y'all. It's boxing. Someone has to lose, unless your belief is also that everyone deserves, participation awards. So I guess they should start making honorable mention belts for everyone. Everybody just gets a belt. We'll just be like Oprah out here. We're just gonna give them a belt, you a belt. Hey, give your unborn children a belt. We're all just gonna get belts. I've never boxed a day in my life. Damn it, I want a belt too. I mean, really, is that what you want? Because surely that's not what you really want, is it? It's just something to think about, you know? I was reading a few studies though, just getting back to the clinical side of it. And one study in particular spoke about how one can get to a place where they begin to exhibit a lot of mental health symptoms due to this celebrity worship, due to this fan fanatic mentality, due to this hero worship, right? And some of the symptoms, oh my gosh, they can begin to have these attention-seeking behaviors, sensation-seeking, cognitive rigidity. I mean, we're talking about someone starting to have depressive symptoms, increased anxiety symptoms, like all the above things that nobody wants to have to deal with. And if you're, my God, if you're already dealing with something like that and you're suffering from something like that, then who the hell would want to even just increase its intensity? Let's look at the cost here. Because what I'm seeing is the cost that these fans have paid have actually been themselves. The cost has been that they have lost their own identity. The cost has been that without being totally just immersed in other boxers' lives, they don't have an identity. It amazes me how these fanatics can say that they really want to see some good fights. Oh, I want to see the best fights. No, that's what I want. I want to see all of the fighters, the top ones. I want to see them fight until their fighters thrown in the mix. Then it's like, nah, such and such didn't do anything to work for. Nah, that ain't enough money. What? Dude, you're not even getting the money. What are you talking about? I mean, this whole ideology that, oh, that's not enough money. Let them say that. Like, what do you even have to do with that? Like, they're boxing for our entertainment, people. I have my favorite boxers. Yeah. Man down, DHP, bronze bomb. Like, I am. I enjoy Errol Spence. I enjoy Deontay Wilder. I enjoy Devin Haney. Yep. And there's some others that I enjoy watching as well. And still, I mean, somebody got to lose, somebody gonna win. And that's what happens in sports, y'all. There's a loser and there's gonna be a winner. Where do you stand though? You know, really look at this thing. Because it's hard to believe that you still find the same joy in it that you used to maybe have when you're losing yourself to it. How? How can you honestly be excited about watching it now when you have literally placed yourself on the front line? And half of you aren't even maybe even watching the fights or paying for them or going to support the fight. But you are out there every day on the front line. And like I said, everybody is entitled to their opinion. It has nothing to do with me looking at, oh, why you like this person, why you like that person, whatever. That's your opinion, right? I mean, you can have one, I can have one. But I choose to stand on the side of truth. If my boxer does something stupid as hell, like they can be my favorite boxer, they still did something stupid as hell. Surely you don't have the same attitude with your children, do you? Some of you may, right? I mean, I get that. Some of you may be like, nah, she can't do no wrong. Nope. Little Timmy, he can't do any wrong. Nope. Little Ann, nope. They can't do no wrong in my eyes. Just give it some time. But then for those of you who are able to point out when your children are in the wrong, why is it so easy to uphold those values in other facets of your lives? But when it comes down to boxing, that shit just goes, and it's just like, oh, nope, they weren't wrong. No. And then they try to like change it in a way like those who are actually speaking facts are the delusional ones. Ain't that some stuff? I mean, it's wild to me. You know, for the longest time, I used to come in the chat and say, oh, I'm a casual, I'm a casual. And then after a while, I was like, no, I'm not a casual. If that's what that is, oh no. Not even close. I'm just grateful that the content creators that I do watch, and it's not because all of us like the same fighters either. I mean, really, you know what I'm saying? It's not like everybody has the same favorites as I do. No, it's not even about that. It's that even when their fighter did not maybe make the best decisions, or they didn't choose maybe the right style for a fight or whatever, they can still say, yeah, don't know why they did it, but it's done and moving on. What amazes me is the majority of the fanatics that I see, it's for boxers who have not had a loss yet. And I can use yet pretty, I can say it strongly because, the chances of one never having a loss, that's pretty slim, right? So that even amazes me that, they have so much to say about every other boxer. And you sitting there like, you haven't even experienced that. What are you going to do when your boxer loses? That's just the way my mind thinks, because the amount of just, man, like I said the other day, I mean, it was just like on some Faith Evans type stuff. I never knew a love like this before. I mean, what the hell? Like I said, half of these fanatics have never even brushed elbows with these people. Like, what are we doing? I hope that y'all are able to really find, that joy in it again, or something in your life, you know? Anyways, that's just a couple things that I wanted to share. Like I said, I appreciate, as always, anybody that stops by just to hear this conversation about my observations over now it's been a few years where I've seen it a little more heavier. So I'm hoping that you all have a wonderful evening wherever you may be. Hope you have a great week, and be gentle with yourselves. Life is hard enough. Just be gentle. Remember, we're all doing this thing called life very first time. Blessings to you.